I found a video today that made me have an epiphany that's kind of scary, so I'm going to share it with you so we can all wallow in the sorrow. There isn't an algorithm. I mean, there is. There's a negative algorithm. We'll call it the anti-algorithm on YouTube. But there isn't really an algorithm that would work correctly to curate content to suggest to you. There is one to figure out who to flag and pick on and that sort of thing, but I don't think it's affected by humans anymore. Let me explain. In the beginning, in the before time, as listed on the entire history of YouTube, I guess, by a YouTube channel, I'm going to get the name right, Answers in Progress, he brought up papers that were done by Google and also by other people and blogs, which he's having trouble finding because he hasn't figured out the port 80 trick on seriously, you got to look up the port 80 trick when you look up stuff on archive.org. But anyway, here we go. In the beginning on YouTube, it would offer suggestions based on human beings curating what would work. Now, Google and YouTube make a living off of their algorithm, and I've been criticizing it for the entire time I've had a YouTube channel, mostly because I'm spiteful, but also because I can't find a citation, but they claimed at one time they were using a sophisticated software algorithm to make advertising more effective. And then I'm watching this video someone did where he looked up all of the scientific papers on all this, and he did this quote, and at the 22-minute mark, he said something very important. He didn't know he said it, but he did. There isn't an algorithm. He didn't say it because I don't know if he realizes it. Maybe he does later on in the video. It's a fairly long video. By the way, it's a good channel. You should all look at all the videos. But what it is it's really, and I'm going to do the explanation. YouTube monitors what you do on YouTube and looks at what you like. And then it looks at what other people watch when they're going looking for things, because you and I can use a very simple search engine. It's actually much more simple than it needs to be on YouTube to try to find things we're looking for. And in the midst of it, trying to shove things in our face because people paid them blood money to jack up their ranking and whatever, we find what we're looking for, because no matter how antagonistic Google is to us not looking up what they demand we go look at because we are guilty of wrongthink, if you, the viewer currently watching this video, and I look at the same videos, just happen to, if you look at a new video that just came up, it's going to suggest it to me, not because of an algorithm, because it doesn't need to. It knows that someone with a similar set of viewing habits, maybe even the same sequence of viewing habits, or the same escalation or behavior patterns, or changing and shifting of tastes over time, you and I have similar behavior patterns. If you look at a video, it'll suggest it to me simply because you looked at it. Now, why would YouTube and Google do that? And why am I saying that's not an algorithm? Because it's not. The engine behind it. Okay, if you're not aware of the movie The Matrix, let's get this out of the way. There was no fusion engine. There was supposed to be a big reveal about this. Computers don't care about electrical power because they don't understand it. What computers are able to understand is whether or not they have processing power. And the processing power in the, oh God, this is the Matrix, is the humans weren't being enslaved as electrical power sources. They were being collectively used as coprocessors. That's actually the real origin story for the movie The Matrix, and it's a much more compelling story, but for some reason, some executive at some stupid movie company told them not to do that. Basically, it would literally rent out part of your brain as a literal computer, rewiring the way the neurons worked, just so that the artificial beings would have somewhere to live, and by having literally 1 million or 1 billion people redundant backups, it would be impossible for them to die. Instead of being robots, which was retroconned, it was literally enslaving human beings as computer equipment. You're a Bitcoin farming bot. That's it. That's all you are. As we all know, if you're not the product, I hate saying this, if you're not the customer, you're the product. Google and YouTube are using human beings to figure out how to recommend things And that's what's running the YouTube algorithm engine. Their advertising depends on human beings interacting with it. If every one of us made it to where we couldn't be identified individually and there was no history to our behavior on YouTube, they wouldn't be able to sell advertising engine activity because their advertising engine is literally us. And that seems so obvious. A long time ago, I posted a blog post, really, but it was more like a science paper, stating Google is blind and deaf. At the time, and you may have noticed they worked on this, Google did not have at one time the ability to analyze a single frame of imaging, much less an entire video, or a website. It couldn't analyze it. It couldn't hear anything because they weren't going to put in the effort of doing voice to text, much less qualitative analysis of music. Now it's able to identify a song you're doing a cover of and try to flag you for, stuff. They'll also flag you for having rain sound in the background, saying that's somehow copyrighted work because it's literally noise. Noise, by the way, fits everything. It's one size fits all. But now it has machine learning for imaging. That's how we do reverse image lookup, and it's trying to stop us from doing that now. And it can identify music. That's sight and sound. That's 90% of how human beings perceive the world, how we see it and hear it. Once they figure out touch, we're screwed. That's a double entendre I didn't mean to do, but keep it. But at one time, all they could do was look at the title of a video, maybe hashtags, metadata, the description, and upvotes and downvotes. That didn't explain how it worked. So they came up with the idea of saying, well, we're selling you a technology and a vision and yada yada. But what they were doing was they could harness us. We're the meat puppets that are doing their work for them. If you allow advertising on your YouTube channel, you are part of the system, and you might or might not click something once in a while, which I don't recommend you ever do. Period. But them selling snake oil by saying, oh, we have an algorithm and analyzes the videos, and that's how it provides you a suggestion. It might now, but in the original version, and actually even very recently, it didn't know such thing. Now imagine the computing processing requirements. Analyzing the video content to figure out this is my hand, getting it wrong a bunch of times, just like the AI routines you all seen that add extra thumbs where they don't belong. Looking at my face, what is it going to get out of it? Nothing. Analyzing my voice, it's a person talking. There's nothing to work with here. It's just going to convert it into text, which you may have noticed it can. If you hit the closed caption button, it might get it right most of the time. In fact, I've used that to recover entire videos. I didn't want to figure out what I had for my little notes, so I turned the entire video into a text file and then edited that because I'm lazy. And then I made the video visible. I'm not kidding. I've done that a couple of times because I had a computer crash while I had the text file open and it got broken. But the point is, except for all of that, in the past, before they could do that, it would just base its suggestions and also advertisement suggestions on what you and I do. Like on Amazon, the blog for Amazon was very blunt about this. We don't use any sophisticated algorithm like some people. We just noticed that, like on my channel, like on my Amazon account, you buy batteries for laptops. You buy them in copious amounts. They're oddly specific. And they also happen to match exactly the laptop computers that we have that are refurbs because the batteries died and leaked. And also computers that are on the top 10 list of machines to have bad batteries. You're a repair person. And then I get ads for, okay, I basically ran a computer shop out of my apartment at one time, or my home, by just letting Amazon pick my, I'm sorry, it found out I'm poor, everything was already sorted by cheapest, I'm a skinflint, and it got me the ones that had like 1-year warranty soldering irons, which is absolutely mandatory. And yes, they were static proofed. The point is, it didn't base that on analyzing what I did. It analyzed a bunch of other geeks doing the same thing, doing gig work, repairing laptops. And then it would suggest, oh, by the way, here's a Amazon thing that's selling used motherboards that have been cleaned and tested. Thank you. I needed those, all of them. I think I drained the company. But the point is, it doesn't know what a what a soldering iron is. It doesn't know whether it's a motherboard. It just knows, statistically speaking, I'm looking for this stuff over here, and there's this other guy looking at the same stuff and a bunch of other stuff. And then suggestions come in. And it literally says what other people searched for the way you were searching for this. I mean, it used to say similar searches to what you've done so far for the last 2 days. And if you clear your cache, it doesn't have any idea what you're doing. If you leave it active, which I did on a specific browser, I would immediately bring up what I pretty much needed before I knew it. Not because of some deep learning algorithm, but because it just saw other users doing the same thing. Now, let's talk about the algorithm that I'm going to refer to as the bad algorithm. The thing that figures out, oh, it's WAPTech, he won't monetize his channel, he says don't run ads on his videos, and he always shows up using at least 5 different ad blockers. I don't have computing processing power here enough to deal with the ads. The ads literally consume more electrical power than watching the freaking videos. If they put up a real good one, a banner ad right above all of the videos over here that was static and said, sponsored by, Raycon earbuds. By the way, you can reverse engineer Raycon earbuds. It's simple. You can buy a $5 pair that are identical. They just don't have the R on them. And you can get a sticker that makes it say Raycon. Not sponsored. Anyway, the point is, I'm so anti-sponsorship because YouTube used this as a blunt instrument to say, your content is not advertiser worthy, so we're going to go out of our way not to recommend it. Now, this is not an algorithm for recommendation or for finding what you want, and you might end up on my video. It's a way to prevent you from finding what you want. That's why it's an anti-algorithm. Their algorithm is designed, the algorithm I'm talking about, the bad one, is designed to find people who would look at my videos and just refuse to show my videos. Now, is that conspiracy theory talk? No, that's literally what they said they were going to do. At one time, if you didn't get, this is a long time ago, a very long time ago, if you did not agree to join some partner program or whatever, you were immediately punished, and it was noted, and it's been brought up in a couple of cases, a couple of court cases, and it's also been brought up in a Department of Justice inquiry, and they basically fessed up to, yeah, we do it to encourage people to sign up and agree to our agreements and let us meddle with their content, and that's why a lot of crap got watered down. That's why we have a lot of controversies in general with multimedia on the internet. Because large corporations don't realize that if my channel got a lot of views because people liked it, and then they changed even one iota of it, it would fuck it up. They don't understand that what you do is, Buppy, if you're the reviewer at YouTube, what you do is you find YouTube channels that put out something that gets views or whatever, right? And then you exploit them by giving them money and getting the fuck out of their face. Well, it's not advertiser friendly. Shut the fuck up and run the ads you're allowed to. The advertiser's like, well, we won't run an ad on their channel. Then don't. That means they got to pay you, fine. Someone else will. What the market will bear. Be capitalist about it. Well, I mean, you're going to do that anyway, but actually be real capitalist instead of the smarmy bullshit. But the point is, the algorithm isn't an artificial intelligence routine at all. It's a dumb utility that just says, oh, you're watching this video. And people who watch my videos are complete freaks and watch all these other channels. Here's some more suggested crap. What I watch as a user isn't going to affect it. And that's it. That's all it is. It was never anything more complicated. The processing power of analyzing the content of a video by looking at each frame and then making some decision about it and listening to my voice and turning it to text, that part works because you can actually get real text. You can analyze it somewhat. Or ignore all of that, throw a bunch of money not into that, but just analyzing everyone's viewing and just make sure that they don't clear their cookies. And now we get to the 14-minute and 15-second mark. If you want to fuck up the algorithm, not hack it, because this is all done so that you can't manipulate this, at least you shouldn't be able to. If everybody cleared their cookies, and just or just never logged in while watching videos unless they had to do something specific on the channel, like look at something that's restricted in some way, they wouldn't be able to make any money doing advertising either, or recommending. And I've been doing that, a lot of you have, for a while now, because when we don't log in, we actually get what we're looking for instead of what it insists on telling us to look at. And that's the last part. the negative algorithm I'm talking about that wants you to watch certain things because they want to influence your opinion and maybe influence an outcome of an election, doesn't work if you don't log in, and doesn't work if you clear your cookies. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck.